What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a video, man, but, I actually got some things in my mind that I want to talk about when it came to All-Star Weekend in the NBA. But first, I wanted to personally say shout out to the Usual Suspects for their 500 episode on Wednesday night. Those six brothers, Cadillac Red, KG, Ag Reacher, 503, Odd Fella, Stay Ready Boxing. They've been doing a massive work in that over there, that channel, man. So go over there, subscribe to the Supreme Beast Boxing Talk. The Usual Suspects. They've been putting in great work, man. Shout out to them brothers. But let me just give my thoughts on the situation when it came to the All-Star Weekend that took place in San Francisco. Now, I've been, watching and then recently listening and reading through various, articles, different opinions from different people about how the weekend turned out. Some people thought that it was not that bad. Some people thought it was the worst All-Star Weekend of all time, which is kind of a bit outrageous when you say that. But, hey, people have the right to say what they want. But the thing is, though, my takeaway of the whole entire events that took place, it wasn't, the events weren't really as bad as I thought it would be. But there are some things that I would definitely improve upon to make it better. Now, in terms of the skill sets challenges and all that stuff with the 3-point contest, it wasn't that bad. Although I will say, Chris Paul, don't ever participate in that stuff ever again, bro. I mean, you made Victor Wembanyama look real bad, bro. It was embarrassing. So don't ever do that nonsense ever again with the skills challenge. Shout out to Tyler Hero, winning the 3-point contest. The dude was on fire. Salute to him. And then Matt McClung, winning his third consecutive slam dunk contest. And on a sidebar, if you want to make the dunk contest much more appealing, have the top all-stars that can do amazing dunks compete in the contest. I'm talking to all-stars like, John Morant, Anthony Edwards, and a few others that could really know how to dunk the basketball. If you want to make the contest much more appealing again as it was back in the day, get in there and compete in the contest. All right? I don't want to hear this notion about, Matt McClung's a G League player. Why is he still competing in the dunk contest? Listen, the guy is going to go down as one of the greatest slam dunk participants of all time. And more importantly, the guy puts creativity, and he's very athletic for 6'1" size. So I don't want to hear this notion about him being in the dunk contest again. Like, listen, it's y'all fault for not wanting to participate in the dunk contest, and now you basically made the dunk contest much more irrelevant. So if you want to change it, all-star players, like the guys that know how to really dunk the ball and make it exciting during games, you got to get in there and change that. But that's my little sidebar. But when it came to the All-Star games, I am going to tell you like this. The commercial breaks were absolutely ridiculous. Like, I cannot comprehend the amount of times I've had to sit there, watch the All-Star games, and literally just like seeing the amount of commercial time they put in. Like, the amount of time, it took about, 2 hours and 48 minutes before the first game actually started. That was very alarming to me. And I'll be honest with you, I was ready to just give up the channel to my grandmother, who was basically watching, Eritrean stuff. Literally, because the commercial breaks were absolutely atrocious. Literally atrocious. Like, I cannot recount the amount of times I've ever seen an All-Star game literally show that many commercial breaks. Like, y'all, you need to cut down a lot of those commercials. And the other cringeworthy thing is, and this is actually one of the other problems I had too, when it came to the Mr. Beast challenge, when that fan took on Damian Lillard for that the logo challenge to win 100K, which was pretty entertaining, and I liked it. It was fun. But the thing that really irritated me was that they were trying to speed that thing up. Like when Mr. Beast said, "You got about 30 seconds before we head into a commercial break." Like, bro, I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear that. That's so cringe to hear that nonsense, right? Now, the kid ended up winning, in the shot and won over $100,000. Congratulations to the young man. But I don't want to hear that stuff, man. And then afterwards, we had to wait almost another 40 minutes, or another 40 to 50 minutes before the second game or the third game started. And then we went back to pregame show where I had to listen to Draymond Green trash on the product. And let me say this too. For Draymond Green to sit there on the pregame crew, right? and basically crap on the product that he and his generation have been responsible for, like Draymond. Like, I understand who you are, brother. Like, I give you the props as a player, but bro, read the room, man. Like, you are really just the biggest pieces of, you just literally become a hypocrite when you basically come out and say that outlandish nonsense, right? So, and then the other thing too here is, and this is a bigger thing too, can you please get rid of Kevin Hart and get rid of the entire TNT crew? I'm actually one of the few that I'm actually glad that the TNT is no longer going to broadcast NBA games after this season, because to be honest with you, the TNT crew as itself, between, you know, Ernie, Shaq, Barkley, and Kenny, they have become absolutely cringe-worthy to watch. I cannot stand watching them anymore because they have literally taken opportunities to crap on this product, when these guys at the same time were the same people that never were great defensive players themselves. Number one, I don't want to hear Shaq talk about Bobo during the commentary. Number two, I don't want to hear Charles Barkley talk about, oh, these guys don't play no defense, when Barkley himself was never a great defensive player. Like, who are you to talk about defense when you never was a great defender in of itself? And then number three, Kenny Smith with his same cringe-worthy lines that he used for the dunk contest for the last 20 years. Like, the thing that really irritated me was that when he used that, allow me to reintroduce myself, my name is Mac. Like, bro, quit using that line that you used 20 years ago. Like, it's just, it was so cringe to listen to those guys. And then Kevin Hart with his, I swear to God, Kevin Hart is not funny. I'm sorry, he is not funny, right? And then he used a pee joke on Shaquille O'Neal in front of live television. Like, bro, you're not funny. It's just, it's cringe-worthy to listen to. You understand? And then after the game, they did this whole silly, stupid, you know, fish gear tribute to the TNT crew, because this was going to be the last All-Star game they're going to ever broadcast. Like, it was taken away from the entire event in of itself, and it was just cringe-worthy to watch. Now, the games weren't as bad as I thought it would be, but then when they reached to like 20 points or 30 points, and they say, oh, we're going to go to the commercial break after they reach 30 points. Like, bro, why would you got to say that? Like, bro, just let the game run in of itself, and you don't have to tell us when the commercial break happens. We can pretty much figure out when a commercial break happens. You understand? So, I don't understand that at all, and it's just, it took away the feel of the All-Star game. Like, I'm just happy that TNT will no longer broadcast NBA games. They have become cringe. So, I know there's going to be people that are going to ask me, well, if you got all these complaints, what would you do to try to change it up? 3 simple things. Number 1, get rid of the TNT crew. And I'm glad that they are going to get rid of them after this season, because I'll be honest with you, I can't stand watching inside the NBA. Like, they have become absolutely cringe over the last couple of years. Now, they do provide some, you know, comical entertainment, which is very, very funny, and I'm not going to, you know, discredit from that. But honestly, bro, like, you gotta read the room, and you gotta stop shitting on these players that literally can do more things with the basketball in their hands than you could ever do. Like, stop, okay? Now, I would take away the TNT crew, all right? Number 2, go back to East versus West. Just go back to East versus West and just leave it at that. Like, it's not the first time where we saw a lot of blowouts in the All-Star game. I mean, come on, guys. We saw blowouts even back in the 80s, for goodness sake. Like, I just don't understand the notion that, oh, we're tired of blowouts in the All-Star game. Like, guys, you're taking away examples of the 2001 and 2003 All-Star games that were close classic games. Like, those kind of games are rarely happen far between, all right? So, we had blowouts before in the past, and then people tend to forget. When they say, well, there was some effort that we put in those games, last time I checked, when I look back at the 2000 All-Star game, for example, you had the Western Conference had 7 7-footers on their roster, right? I can name them off the bat: Duncan, Garnett, Shaq. And then the bench: Rasheed Wallace, Karl Malone, Chris Webber, and David Robinson. You understand who these guys are? Combine that with Jason Kidd, Kobe Bryant, and then also who was else on the team? Michael Finley, right? Gary Payton. All right, let's read the room, guys. Like, seriously, read the room and look at what was available to them back in the day, right? So that's what I would do. I would just bring it back to East versus West. And then the third thing, I would bring a tad bit of effort for these players. Now, I would say that there was some effort in the game, you know, in the games that we saw, right? There was some effort in there, but just show a tad bit effort. It would basically help the product much more tremendously if you actually put more effort into these All-Star games that you've shown over the last couple of years, right? It's one of the reasons why people have just been cringe-worthy to watch, the NBA All-Star game. And you can say the same thing about the NFL Pro Bowl too. Those NFL players did not want to tackle each other, and it just got so bad to where the NFL pretty much said we're just throwing away the entire Pro Bowl game because these guys don't want to play against one another. They don't want to tackle each other. So the bottom line is, you just have to show that bit of effort, and that would make the games much more appealing. But other than that, I thought the All-Star game was kind of little bit of improvement. But those are the three things that I mentioned. Get rid of TNT, right? And I'm glad that they are. All right, bring it back to this East versus West, and then number 3, bring back a little bit of effort into the games, and I guarantee you that the All-Star game would be much more pleasing to watch. But that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. With that, I'm out. Peace.